Oh, hi. Welcome to another Today's Decay, where we celebrate births and beginnings of everything important since the dawn of time. This day is September 30th, and on this day, a short cartoon premiered that went by two different names called The Pincushion Man, aka Balloon Land, and it's really good. Two different versions. I have actually a Super 8 version that's longer. This here is Pincushion Man, which I have queued up on my 16mm projector, which I recently got because my other one broke that I had for a really long time. And it's more expensive and more time consuming to get these things fixed, which is so frustrating than to find a new one. This film is a lot of fun. It's all these innocent balloon people in Balloon Town, Balloon Land, and a pincushion man comes to town and decides to pop everybody. It's really good. Yeah. So we're going to watch it. But before we do, we're going to talk about some other things that are going on today. Or did go on today. Throughout history. Such as Dan O'Bannon, who was born on this day in 1946. Dan O'Bannon's the director of all sorts of great things. Alien? Or, no. But he was involved with the script for Alien. Right? Yeah. Yeah. He was the director, though, for Dead and Buried, Return of the Living Dead, a whole bunch more. Dan O'Bannon's great. Great! I'm missing out on a couple of important parts of him, but, well, here I am. On this day in 1963, the Outer Limits episode, Architects of Fear, premiered. This is really good and very timely in a couple different ways. For one, the ending of Watchmen, the comic book, was flat out stolen. Alan Moore, the writer of Watchmen, stole it from this episode of Outer Limits. Growing up, I was always a Twilight Zone fan. I just never got the opportunity to see too many Outer Limits. And in hindsight, Outer Limits are great when they hit, but there's nowhere near as many episodes as there are Twilight Zone episodes. But there's some really good. What am I trying to say? There's some really good Outer Limits episodes out there, but only a handful of them because there's only I think two seasons of Outer Limits, where you have 7, 8, I don't know, many seasons of Twilight Zone. So amongst those two seasons of Outer Limits, I'm gonna try to complete sentences today. They've got some great ones. Demon with the Glass Hand, The Mutant, Architects of Fear, The Galaxy Being. All excellent. Excellent. Architects of Fear, the story is people from the UN don't open until Doomsday. It's another good one. I forget. Some think tank for 1963 decides that the best way to unite the world is for a alien invasion or an alien to set down on Earth and like walk into the United Nations. And by doing so, we as Earthlings will realize that we are one species and we're not separated by slight variations of skin tone or social, economical, religious, whatever backgrounds, that we're all carbon-based life forms of a certain species that are one and are equal and are not the otherworldly being which comes down from the heavens, which in this case what they did was they designed it. Architects of Fear. They wanted to make humanity scared of what was out there and for the purpose of creating world peace for human beings. So what they did was because they didn't have a alien of some kind to beam into the United Nations. So they genetically altered a human being to appear to be a creature from outer space, and then shot him up into the stratosphere to have him land near the UN. And it's basically, it is the same story as what Alan Moore did for the end of Watchmen, and they referenced it in the Watchmen HBO show as like a, wink, yeah, we're so utterly self-aware, which was a great show, by the way, the HBO Watchmen show. So, yeah, premiered this day, 63. Thunderbirds, the TV show by, what's his name? Puppet Tunes. No, it's not George Pell. I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head. Anyway, the TV show, Thunderbirds, which was also like the guy who did Fireball XL5, Thunderbirds Are Go, a bunch of other ones. Premiered on this day, 1965. The film Hands of the Ripper, a tragically overlooked Hammer film, premiered on this day in 1973. The story is Jack the Ripper's daughter doesn't realize she's Jack the Ripper's daughter, and starts having like genetically connected flashbacks to him, and he like possesses her, I suppose, or his spirit lives on within her in some form or another, genetically, I suppose. And it's a really good movie. I feel like Hammer is similar to Outer Limits, very hit or miss. And certainly by the early to mid 70s, Hammer is, you're not expecting great stuff, with a couple of exceptions, but this one is really good. I enjoyed it a bunch. And on this day, 1977, Nick Curran was born. I never saw Nick Curran. Definitely a regret of mine. I feel like at the time, I don't know what I was doing. I wasn't listening to Nick Curran, and I was wrong. He passed away way too early. Anyway, so we're going to watch this film, assuming it's going to work. I'm still kind of learning this projector. It's brand new for me. Shall we give it a shot? Okay. Come with me. The other version I have, I think, has the soundtrack and is in color. Different versions were made in the like in the 50s and 60s, all for home use. Often like budget versions, or like, what type of machine do you have and whatever. I'm gonna stop talking over the picture. Oh no. Oh boy. You hear the projector? I think it's magic. This is so much better than digital projection. Digital projection is so much easier. When this works and it doesn't burst into flames, it's really something special. All right, that's it. Until tomorrow, folks. Goodbye.